The story of Jin's album Echo works two ways. If you follow the story from the first song to the last song, chronologically, it tells the story of a guy who is in this relationship on the brink of collapse. He goes through the journey of clinging to that love, feeling like he's nothing without the girl, before finally trying to let go. And the last song was him freeing himself. But if you experience the album in reverse, it becomes a bit more tragic. Echo tells the story of a man trying to move on from a lost love, finding resolve to live in the present. But as the tracks progress backward, we see him slipping into nostalgia, drifting through a phase of self liberation, falling recklessly in love into a new love, experiencing the same tumultuous push and pull of a troubled relationship, and ultimately becoming emotionally dependent before realizing it was doomed from the start. It's a haunting cycle of love, loss, and the struggle to let go, a loop that Jin can't seem to escape. Let's dive deeper into what makes Jin's album Echo a work of mind and heart. The story in its original chronological order. When interpreted in its original chronology, the album tells the story of falling in love, facing the tumultuous nature of a relationship, and ultimately finding a sense of closure. Don't Say You Love Me portrays a relationship on the brink of collapse. The lyrics are desperate plea to not say words of love unless they are truly meant, setting a melancholic tone for what is to come. Then Nothing Without Your Love, the second track, deepens that emotional tension as Jin finds himself clinging to the love he knows is unraveling. There's a sense of an unhealthy dependency here. Loser, featuring Yena, is the push and pull of a relationship that's both exhilarating and exhausting, with Jin and Yena trading verses that reveal moments of intense connection and painful misunderstanding. Rope It is his attempt to let loose and escape the emotional turmoil. There's a sense of reckless optimism. A Journey with the Clouds is a metaphor that represents Jin's desire to drift away from his emotional baggage. But the airy, dreamlike quality of the song suggests that he's not quite ready to let go just yet. In background, the memories are still fresh in his mind. Jin acknowledges how the past continues to cast a shadow over his present. And for the last song to me today, it's a serene and contemplative track where Jin finally comes to terms with himself. He found a way to embrace the present moment, accepting the past for what it was without letting it define his future. So, in the original chronology, the beginning is tumultuous but ends in a hopeful tone, even with Jin seemingly out of a relationship and on his own. But let's look at it in reverse chronology. If we start with the last track and end it with the first, a new narrative emerges. It is some sort of a cycle of love and loss where the protagonist struggles to move on but finds himself caught in a haunting emotional loop. To Me Today becomes the first song, and in here, Jin has a resolve to live in the present and embrace self love. He's finally ready to let go of the past and focused on himself. In background, he reflects on the past, memories of a difficult relationship which continues to linger. The second track in this reverse order becomes a haunting reminder of how love can leave an indelible mark even when one is trying to move forward. The third track is A Journey with Clouds, and it represents a moment of emotional release. Rope It is the past seemingly behind him. Jin opens himself to a new love. The upbeat country rock vibe signifies a newfound optimism. But Loser, featuring Yena, reveals that it is never as simple as it seems. We witness the dynamics of the relationship, the push and the pull, the moments of passion intertwined with conflict and pain. In Nothing Without Your Love, we see the vulnerability of Jin and his love as he admits that he feels incomplete without his partner's love. Don't Say You Love Me becomes the closing, the gut punch that brings the cycle full circle. Jin recognizes that the relationship he is now in is doomed, yet he struggles to let go. The emotional turmoil of the entire album culminates here, suggesting that despite his efforts to move on, he's still caught in the same haunting loop of loving, losing, and trying to let go. And this is the same cycle he struggled to be free of in the background. So, by experiencing Echo in reverse, we uncover a powerful emotional narrative. The reverse order gives the album a tragic, haunting resonance, making it feel like a heartbreaking story that keeps repeating, no matter how hard Jin tries to escape. Rebelling against Western pop through J-pop, Jin actually steps out of the typical K-pop soundscape, diving into genres that are rarely explored by mainstream idols. In Echo, he ventures into pop punk with Loser featuring Yena, delivering a raw, rebellious energy reminiscent of every 2000s punk pop band. Meanwhile, he dips into country rock with Rope It, infusing the genre's rustic, carefree spirit with his signature emotive vocals. While some K-pop acts have touched on country rock and pop punk, like Tu Yoon's 24/7 and TXT's Loser Lover, Lyrical J-Rock is virtually uncharted territory for any K-pop act. Jin is arguably the first Korean artist to fully embrace lyrical J rock in A Journey with the Clouds. Lyrical J rock is characterized by poetic metaphor laden storytelling, often set against soaring, guitar driven instrumentation that evokes a sense of longing or ethereal beauty. In A Journey with the Clouds, Jin uses clouds as a metaphor for letting go, blending haunting melodies with dreamlike lyrics that evoke imagery more akin to Japanese rock ballads than conventional K pop. This not only establishes Jin as a genre trailblazer, but also underscores his willingness to take creative risks that push the boundaries of his artistry. One common thread among mainstream reviews of Echo is the insistence that the album is a natural continuation of Happy, focusing heavily on Jin's undeniable vocal prowess. NME, for instance, remarked, following just 6 months after Happy, it's not worlds apart from its predecessor, but presents a slightly distorted, changed version of the record's sound, like how an echo of a call reverberates off walls to create something familiar but new. He concentrates on polishing what he knows works for him, an important step for any artist in cementing their style. While I agree that Jin's voice is his most potent asset, the real depth of Echo lies not in the form, but in the substance. The narrative complexity is actually embedded in the lyrical subtext, not just in the surface level sound. Take Don't Say You Love Me, for example. At first glance, it may seem like a straightforward plea for a partner to end the relationship or not end the relationship. But a closer listen reveals an undercurrent of emotional manipulation. The lyrics subtly suggest a partner with narcissistic or histrionic traits, someone who keeps the other emotionally tethered through a cycle of praise and criticism, creating a toxic attachment that blurs the line between love and control. Then there's background. On the surface, it appears to be a reflective piece about lingering memories of a lost love. But the opening stanza hints at something deeper, a relationship that wasn't built on genuine love, but rather a sense of obligation or entrapment, suggesting a toxic dynamic that he's only now coming in terms with. In both tracks and some others, Jin uses evocative yet understated storytelling to explore themes of manipulation, emotional dependency, and self realization. The complexity isn't in how the words are structured, but in what they actually imply. A psychological dissection that resonates long after the song ends. Special focus on a journey beyond the clouds. Western pop music often thrives on simplicity, relying heavily on repetitive structures and predictable chord progressions, typically limited to the familiar four chord format that dominates mainstream hits. This approach prioritizes catchy hooks and instant gratification, making songs easily digestible and radio friendly. J-pop, on the other hand, is almost the antithesis of this simplicity. It embraces complexity, layering intricate melodies, unconventional chord changes, and unexpected time signatures. While Western pop aims for universal appeal through minimalism, J-pop creates a richer, more cinematic soundscape that tells a story, often inspired by anime, literature, and other art forms. It's less concerned with instant catchiness and more focused on crafting a multifaceted listening experience, an approach that Jin fully embodies in A Journey with the Clouds. In this track, Jin delves into the lyrical J-rock style, weaving poetic metaphors with atmospheric instrumentation. The song flows like a dream sequence with a cloud motif symbolizing freedom, escapism, and the fleeting nature of memory, a thematic complexity that transcends the conventional boundaries of pop. Jin's universe, crafting his own legacy. From Happy to Echo, Jin is steadily constructing a distinct artistic universe, one that reflects not just his voice but his evolving perspective and emotional landscape. While BTS gave him a platform to showcase his vocal abilities, his solo ventures are where he's truly beginning to carve out a space that is unmistakably his own. In Happy, Jin introduced us to a softer, introspective side. The album was a reflective exploration of fleeting joy and personal fulfillment, characterized by acoustic ballads and minimalist production. It was as if Jin was dipping his toes into the waters of self discovery, creating a warm, almost nostalgic soundscape that captured the essence of quiet contentment. The lyrics in Happy were deeply personal, revolving around themes of self acceptance, gratitude, and the desire to hold on to fleeting moments of happiness. It was a gentle start, a safe but emotionally resonant collection that laid the foundation for his artistic journey. Then came Echo, a bold, ambitious leap forward. Here, Jin expands his sonic palette, venturing into genres rarely explored by K-pop idols, pop pop, country rock, and lyrical J-rock. Each track is not just a song but a distinct chapter in an unfolding narrative. Unlike Happy, which stayed within the comfort boundaries of ballads, Echo shatters those boundaries, pushing Jin into riskier, more unconventional territory. In Echo, Jin explores deeper emotional terrain, manipulation, toxic relationships, self liberation, and cyclical love and loss. Thematically, it's more layered, more challenging, and more haunting. Where Happy was a snapshot of fleeting contentment, Echo is a visceral plunge into darker, more complex emotions. It's less about finding happiness and more about confronting the shadows that linger in its absence. By threading these two albums together, Jin is not just creating music, he's crafting a cinematic universe of sound and storytelling, one that feels like a reflective diary in his inner world. It's a universe where the echoes of past relationships, unresolved feelings, and self discovery intertwine, painting a vivid portrait of a man caught between yearning and acceptance, vulnerability and strength. With Echo, Jin is no longer just the sweet, soft spoken vocalist. He's now an artist on the brink of a full fledged artistic journey, one that is wholly his, a universe marked by introspection, emotional complexity, and fearless exploration. I am not claiming that my interpretation equals Jin's intention, but I think
That has always been the beauty of the music of Jin and the rest of BTS members. It's that you can take your own experience and your own sensibilities and use that to interpret the music that they are presenting. And that's what art is all about. The only other thing that I wanted to add is to pay close attention to the voice of Jin in this entire album, because he was able to utilize his voice in different ways. In in Don't Say You Love Me, the chorus was such a, it wasn't exactly a vocal acrobat, but it's more how he was able to drop and rise in terms of the tonality of his voice, in terms of the note, like he would go up and down very, very effortlessly, that you won't even be like you won't be aware of how fast he would go up and down, because he's doing it so seamlessly. So pay attention to that, because this record may sound easy, but it isn't. And that goes for every song in the album. Okay, would love to hear your interpretation, or maybe have a feedback on mine. Also, please stream Echo. Let's give it a good shot. Let's make this his most successful single to date. Okay, if you ended up liking this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And of course, share the video if you can. That's really helping my channel. And follow me on X, also on IG, and more importantly on Patreon. We have a vibrant community. We have a lot of discussion, not just BTS, but other things, Asian movies, Asian TV shows, other artists. And we do have a free tier just in case you want to try things out. All right, thank you. I'll see you there.